You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
I'm talking about shout it going crazy. People going crazy in these motherfuckers. Run that shit back, man.
But it's nothing. Nothing. Got a woman on the day. Man made the car. Carry the heavy load. Man made the electrolyte to take us out of the dark. Man made the boat for the water like the 7-millimeter. Man thinks about a little bit of baby girl and a baby boy. Man make them happy because man make them dark. But after man make everything we can. Black Politicians unsolved. This is episode 8 of season 7 of Unsolved. This is season 8, episode 7 of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience, and here we'll be hosting an open mic discussion about black politicians are not serving the interests of black people in America. Every other group will cause their purpose specifically for their people except the Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus is to do for minorities, marginalized communities, Yes, I am. What are you doing there? What are you doing? Front Line Blacc on YouTube and Facebook because Shabaka'S Blacc exposed and enhanced. And we're going to division of Front Line Blacc news. Okay, Professor. Okay, you are at the top as an living shit. I don't want to make that typical prayer. About the shenanigans that he's put on, about how they got, how they're going to call him, and then fellow black-ass politicians who don't do shit for the people who expect us to want to vote for them every year. Okay, Professor, please take it away. We have an unwilling call out.
Can you hear now? I'm sorry, Deacon. Can you hear?
Blacc over radio as well too. There, the principal over there, she got Mom Akbar, and also too definitely give a shout out there to Dr. Critical Truth.
Let me know in the chat if I can hear
that she is doing. Okay, Professor, lead us with knowledge. Okay, I just want to say one thing.
Can y'all hear it?
Of the 17 members who started the Congressional Black Caucus had intentions of growing the Black community. You had Shirley, you had William Clay, you had George.
You got a wrench too, Twin. So if we get any trolls in the chat, you already know what to do with them.
Yes, Augustus Hawkins, Ralph Metcalf, Herman Mitchell.
You can time them out or block. If they get too belligerent, block them.
Louis Stokes, and of course from Washington D.C. because it's still a colony, Walter Front. Right. And when the Congressional Rights Caucus in operation today is more concerned about getting carbon state their congressional reception than they are feeding economic wealth to our Black community. Mm-hmm. You understand? Yes, sir. They have evolved from a group of determined Black people. Shirley Chisholm, for one, Shirley said, if you don't invite, if you're not invited to the table, then bring your chair. Bring your chair. Right.
That's what she said.
You force your way in. Right now, we've got a bunch of elected politicians who care more about feeding their own pockets than feeding the pockets of Black Americans.
Okay.
You got Black folks, and I hate to say it from my standpoint, even Kwesi Mfume. I know Kwesi. I went to school with Kwesi. I went to Morgan with Kwesi. And Kwesi voted for the 1990 crime bill that put 25% or more of our Black community behind bars. And Kwesi understand he was responsible for his support, caused others to support this crime bill. Now you've got Kwesi, Joe Biden, author. Joe Biden was the author of the crime bill. Yes, sir. Yes. So when I look at what happened, what has happened to the Congressional Black Caucus, what has happened to the Congressional Black Caucus is they've actually just went totally so far off course that they can't get back on course. we have got to understand those members of the Black Caucus, first off, have to understand their importance to Black America. If they're not speaking on reparations, if they're not demanding reparations, if they're not putting whatever little power they have in force, you know what I'm saying? And because they're going out here for weekend. What they've become is a weekend organization. A weekend, meaning a party organization. Took up a week of partying at the Congressional Black Caucus retreat, so to speak, where all of this corporate money is flowed into that week of events. And what's the biggest drawing card of those events? It's not right. They want to make sure that the carving stations have roast beef on it and pork loin and great food and open bars and nice bands, but they're not doing anything for the Black community. The Black wealth gap is continuing to shrink, and we're being fooled by the media, to think that we've arrived. When we still on 2% wealth of this nation. We're 14% of the population. We're 14% of the total population, but we only own 2% of the wealth of the nation. Yes, sir. The wealth disparity between white households and Black households is $840,000. Wow. That means that the average white household has almost $1 million more wealth than the average Black household. If you look at take the state, for example, the metropolitan area of Boston. Boston is not in Alabama. Okay, Boston is not in Mississippi. Boston is not in Louisiana. Boston is supposedly the beacon of democracy, the state of Massachusetts. The average Black wealth in the Boston metropolitan area, including the city of Boston, is $8. Damn.
What?
$8.
Wow.
I'm not making shit up. This is for real. $8.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. You know, yes, sir. I want to read something real quick, and you know, it's a little lengthy, but I just want to read it. I wrote it. It's called a Black history lesson. And the main premise, question I ask is, why is injustice more valuable to white America than providing justice to Blacks in America? Oh, it's easy to answer, to make the answer that racism is the most simple response to the question. These white people simply hate and revere, and they just simply hate Blacks in this nation. They always have, and they always will. Hell, those bastards stole us from our homes in Africa. The European invaders also stole the land right from under the Blacks who were already here, because there were Blacks already here in America when the Europeans came.
Yep.
Those evil white people not only stole our bodies, but they also stole the land from underneath our feet. They forced us to work in horrid conditions in a system of slavery that was the most savage and inhumane system in all the annals. The system of American slavery was based on violence and greed, which stole our heritage, stole our cultures, stole our language.
That's Marvin X.
Stole our
Jackman.
religion.
out of Oakland,
stole our family
California, y'all.
connection,
He's the black
stole our
man who
wealth
speaks.
potential,
He got a whole
stole our labor,
podcast.
and finally
Make sure
stole
y'all
our
check him out.
ancestors' lives. Yes, sir. It started simply going to
I know,
ask the
$8.
question
I
and
can't
simply
believe it,
wonder
Deacon.
why
$8
since the
and wealth.
emancipation of our ancestors supposedly in December of 1865 with the 13th Amendment, why has America done so much to impede justice being applied to every black citizen in this nation? Some historians will say that the fact that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, of course we know Abraham Lincoln was the white man's president. Frederick Douglass said that in 1876 when they unveiled the Freeman statue, the statue that has Abraham Lincoln 10 feet tall with the bowing Negro looking up at the map. Yes, sir. Yes, he was the white man's president. So when they will say that assassination set back the plans to provide an impetus to secure the rights that were promised by the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment of the Constitution, the so-called Civil War Amendment. In some ways, this could be explained since his predecessor was Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson, in actuality, was the worst president this nation has ever had for black Americans. Far worse than Donald Trump. Okay? Far worse than Donald Trump. Far worse than Richard Nixon. Far worse than Eisenhower. Far worse than Woodrow Wilson. Because what did Andrew Johnson do? Andrew Johnson took back 40 acres in a mule. Andrew Johnson stole what was given to our black ancestors back and gave it back to the rebels who started the Civil War.
It was Johnson. Yep.
He was supposedly
17th president.
He was supposedly he was actually not Lincoln's first vice president. Lincoln's first vice president was Hamlin out of, I think, Indiana. Harry Hamlin. Lincoln was afraid that he was going to lose the election. So he had to pick someone who was in the border state. That's why he chose Johnson to replace Hamlin. Hamlin was an abolitionist. Johnson owned slaves. Hamlin never owned slaves. Johnson owned slaves. Johnson loved slavery. But he was but he also did not want to be a part of the Confederacy. I think he realized that the Confederacy eventually would lose. So he actually, Lincoln took him on as the vice president. Leaving Hamlin out in the cold. Now, who's to say what Hamlin would have done had he maintained his position as vice president? Because he was a friend of Thaddeus Stevens. He was a friend of Frederick Douglass. He was a supporter of freeing our ancestors. Now he wasn't a white man for the black man. He was simply a white man who understood that slavery was destroying this country and keeping down the labor prices in the South. And eventually, if they didn't stop slavery, they would have moved slavery into Mexico. They'd have moved slavery into the Philippines. That's what the Confederate plan was, to move slavery, American form of slavery, across the country, across the world, across the globe. So when Reconstruction was implemented during administration, he did all he could to ensure the Reconstruction plans were just at it. being there.
Mm-hmm.
He voted to keep Johnson because he was afraid that if Johnson was kicked out, it would hurt the international image of.
Okay. All right. That precise bullshit that they throw around the country. Yes, sir.
You don't tell you about.
What happened? Oh, I didn't get disconnected. God damn it, the internet went out. Sorry, y'all got disconnected. And now I can't hear the show. So I'm going to have to direct connect back in here because I'm the one that's hosting the show.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
But yeah, he was dropping some serious gems, huh? Quick. Come on.
The pin is the pin you have found. Please.
What? Doing that. Sorry, I'm trying to direct connect back into the studio.
To start your show now, press 1.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Right?
Right. Okay.
But because Black people were considered human, she was his sister became James Madison's property. Had a baby, sold that baby into slavery.
Come on, yeah. No, the internet was stupid.
Right.
Well, I don't know. He might have had a couple. He might have had a couple children or more children by this woman who was his sister.
Yeah.
That's the thing that really. That's the thing that's so pervasive about the system of slavery that you can't still comprehend. You can't comprehend that type of evilness.
Mm-hmm.
You can't comprehend the evilness. Jefferson took a 15-year-old Sally Hemings over to France and knocked her up. You can't comprehend that. You can't comprehend the evilness of you give somebody civil rights. You give them the right. You and then you make it so Black people are always criminals, so they're always still enslaved. Then you create the 14th Amendment, which supposedly gave us our citizen rights, and then they use the 14th Amendment to benefit
everybody
them
but
rather
us.
than to benefit us.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 15th Amendment, you give them the 15th Amendment in 1877 for a seat in the White House. Rutherford B. Hayes said, yes. I will give the South back to you. I'll give the South back to you, ex-Confederates. Y'all learn how to, now y'all treat y'all Negroes right now. Just let me be the president. And that was the end of Reconstruction as we knew it. Rayford Logan called the period between 1880 and 1940 the nadir for Black America. It was even worse than slavery. You know why it was worse than slavery? Because at least as slaves we had a value. We had no value when slavery ended. So they would just use us and throw us away. They put us in those mines in Alabama as convict criminals who the only crime they committed was they didn't have any money in their pockets. Why didn't they have any money in their pockets? Because the government refused to give us any reparation. So they didn't have any money. They didn't have any jobs. They didn't have any education. I think when you look at it, probably 98% of Black Americans in 1865 were illiterate. And that's why they didn't want to slave the Professor. And if I may say, okay, they did not want the slave to read, Professor, because once the slave starts reading, he starts thinking. And once he starts thinking, he starts realizing his position. And once he starts realizing his position, he starts rebelling, just like what happened in Haiti. And this is why I appreciate the fact that President Douglas beat the living dog shit out of that raping slave trading pedophile that owned him as property. And Freddie D had to get up out of Dodge. And what Freddie D did, he became a sailor, on the ships. And then what Freddie D did is that he had wound up in San Francisco, California, Professor, as you know, and then he had started, his newspaper publishing business. And then also, too, kind of like Muhammad Ali. I'm gonna call you there. Is that you, Joe? Come on with it, man. Sarge, is that you? The mic is on music. Yes, sir. Okay. Is this inclusion?
Solution.
Solution.
Oh, Lord. Not got solution. Solution always get into it, y'all.
Okay. Solution. All right. Then we have to have you. How you doing, Solution? I'm fine, sir.
That's right. 2024.
I love your solutions, man, because that's what we need. We need some goddamn solutions. Because we sure ain't getting it from the Congressional. We sure ain't getting it from the Congressional Black Caucus. We sure ain't getting it from either from the I love you. You're my man, Solutions. Yes, sir. Talk to me, Solutions. What you got?
Yeah, well, I have a hell of a lot. I'm a pretty straight shooter, and most people aren't, unfortunately. But look here, a couple of questions just to get clarification. And by the way, Shabaka, this is a good subject. I'm glad you brought this up for a number of reasons. But nevertheless, I was looking up the term caucus just so I would be intimate with it, so I would be familiar with it. And it's a meeting, and it's also a group. But let me ask you: are there any binding legal or requirements that the caucus anything for? My question. That's my first question. In other words, do they have a charter or something that legally binds them to do X? If you know.
That's a good question.
Right, that's why I'm posing it.
That's a great question. We need to Google the Black Caucus charter, because I'm sure they have it.
Yeah, or any caucus to see what their mandates are. Because see, look, number one, people usually work in their own best interest. That's psychology 101. And if they're in a position, now, Claude Anderson, you know, everybody buys Claude Anderson's book because the principles will work for everyone. But he talks about how to address poor or impotent representation. You tell the person, number one, what the hell you want by a due date. It's almost like a note, right? And if they don't do it, you recall them, you kick their carcasses out of office, you bounce them. So if a person has a mandate and they're getting some kind of accolade, compensation, which I don't know is the case. That's the reason I asked the question. However, if they are getting some sort of accolade that they are bound to carry out and they're not doing it, there's a recall system. And get someone else who will do, and get someone else who will do what you want them to do. But now, what I notice is people are always looking at the national level. And I understand that. They are the best, they get the acclaim. But really, things start in their city, where they get their stuff. Start there. And then there's city leaders, right? City, the local, county, et cetera, they have pull on the national guys. They can pull the coattails or the strings of the national guys. But you need people who agree upon a particular platform and who will move forward with it. I mean, so I think a lot of people, regardless of their ethnicity, and I don't think this is necessarily ethnicity specific. I think all people confront this, but if you want to mark yourself out and say this applies to me, then what I would suggest, this is just a suggestion, identify what the hell you want. Additionally, identify who can provide what you want.
Go ahead, Lucian. Let me say one thing. You know how difficult it is to become an elected official in the Congress now? You know how much money a congressman has to raise in order to be elected? Do you also know that Black folks don't vote?
Well, okay.
And
that's a problem that they have to address.
That's the problem, and we tend to vote for the incumbent, no matter if the incumbent is effective or not. Not unless it's a situation where the incumbent is criminally involved in some shenanigans. Will he or she not get reelected? I mean, Maxine Waters is damn near 100 years old. And the thing about it with most of our elected officials in Washington, they stay too long. Mm-hmm. They wear out their welcome.
Right. Yeah.
And I've always been of the opinion that we can't afford to have 40-year experienced Congress people representing us. Mm-hmm. We need to have a period of like 10 to 16 years, and then those individuals move into a college situation to teach policy, and then you get a new set of leaders. We can't afford to do what white folks do with that seniority situation. And in reference to the CBC, let me read you something. It's on the page of the CBC. Since the establishment in 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus has been committed to using the full constitutional power, statutory authority, and financial resources of the federal government to ensure that African Americans and other marginalized communities have the opportunity to achieve the American dream. Now, I ain't got no problem with that statement, although I would say that they have more of a responsibility to African Americans than other marginalized communities. What we have now is we have to push. So hold on,
Wait a minute, may I just comment there? Hold on, Solution, let the professor finish. Hold on, Solution, let the professor finish, please, and then we'll do it.
Now you've got this situation where you've got members of the Congressional Black Caucus who are supporting the influx of Mexicans and Hispanics coming over the border.
Right.
And they come over the border and they get the support from the government that we've never got.
Right.
And you've got our Black Congressional Caucus members supporting that influx of people coming over the border. Okay?
That part.
Okay? Now, that's what I say about marginalized communities. Okay? The caucus is chaired by Congressman Steve Hartsford, or Horsford. As part of this commitment, the Congressional Black Caucus has fought for the past 50 years to empower these citizens and address their legislative concerns by pursuing a policy agenda that includes, but is not limited to, the following. Number one, reforming the criminal justice system and eliminating barriers to reentry. Are they doing? Hell no. Combating voter suppression. Are they doing that? Hell no. Expanding access to world-class education from pre-K to post-secondary level. Are they doing that?
No.
Hell no. Expanding access to quality, affordable health care and eliminating racial health disparities. Are they doing that?
No.
Hell no. Expanding access to 21st century technologies, including broadband. Are they doing that?
No.
Hell no. For workers and expanding access to full family compensated employment. Are they doing that? Hell no. Expanding access to capital, contracts, and counseling for minority-owned businesses. Are they doing that?
No.
Hell no. And promoting U.S. foreign policy initiatives in Africa and other countries that are consistent with the fundamental rights of human dignity. Are they doing that?
Hell no.
So what is the CBC doing? Because they surely are not doing what they said they are supposed to be doing. What are they doing?
Right.
They're doing something for everybody but us.
They're getting carbon stations with prime roast beef and open bars during their week of fun of gaiety and fun in Washington, D.C. I think that they do in September. That's what they get. And fill in their pockets so they can go back and big houses while their constituents are living in the dregs of the ghettos across this nation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
and we have a caller at 347 last 3970. Press 1 if you want to speak live. I'm sorry, Professor. Go ahead. We just have an additional caller.
And if you look at it, and if you look at it, they've got 58 members in the House of Representatives, and I think one Black senator now, Scott, is it the goofy guy from South Carolina?
Yes, that damn Tim Scott. Yeah, that ass.
Yeah, he's the only Black senator, right? Right, and so it's
No, you're thinking of Clyburn. You're thinking of Jim Clyburn.
Huh?
On the Democratic side, it's Jim Clyburn out of South Carolina.
Okay.
No, Clyburn is the House of Representatives. He's not in the Senate. He's
not
in the Senate.
Okay. I stand corrected then.
Because Obama was a senator before he became the president. And then before him was a sister from Illinois who was a senator. You got the congresswoman from California who's running for the California seat for Senate that the woman that was 100 years old and died.
You're talking about Barbara.
Right. Feinstein.
No.
Yeah, Dianne Feinstein.
Right, yeah.
So it's only one Black senator in its 57 Black representatives, House of Representative members. That's what they got.
Wow.
They got enough to do a block in the House to do some things. But they consistently don't do anything. But they but they will wear they'll wear their kente cloth on February 1st coming up this week, right?
Right.
I think it's Thursday or is it
It's Thursday.
Day after tomorrow.
Yes,
Day after
Thursday.
tomorrow, Professor. Okay, now what's going to happen on February the 1st, bro? On February the 1st, they're going to put on that caretaker clause.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they're going to have all of these, they're going to show all of their blacks for all the country to see. And then they going to go back to what they were doing before. Not a goddamn thing. Right. They will allow racist House of Representative members and senators to wear kente cloth. Right. But the black wealth gap isn't shrinking, it's expanding. Yes, sir. The health gap, the health gap isn't shrinking, it's expanding. Food deserts in the inner cities are not shrinking, they're expanding. You know, black colleges are falling by the wayside. You got black screaming across the country they don't have no heat and hot water. You can't blame the administrators in the universities of that. That's the responsibility of the government. That they don't have money. Okay. The fact that the HBCU is suffering is not the fact. It's not the reason for mismanagement by black leadership. It's because black leadership refuses to just sit down and say, God damn it, like the Jews did to the Germans. Right, right. After World War II, they said, God damn it, you're gonna give us something. You fucking killed us. You killed 6 million of us. You're gonna give us something. Mm. And they ended up getting billions and billions of dollars in a fucking nation.
That ain't even happened here. And that ain't even happened here, Professor.
They said, you know what? We ain't going to live in Germany no more. We ain't going to live in Poland no more. We don't want to be there. We want our own thing. And what they do? They went to Africa and took a plot of land from the Africans, Israel, renamed that part of Africa the Middle East. It's not Africa no more. It's the Middle East. It's fucking Africa. Okay?
Yeah, after the Suez Canal.
And now the Israelites are saying, we not only do we want this land that you gave us, we now want the Gaza Strip. Because we ain't happy. And what does white America say? Go on and take it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. But our black leaders are so afraid of being, of being deemed racist. You can't be racist and not that you have power.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as a black racist. You got to have power to be a racist.
Right.
How can you sit in a country? How can you sit in a legislator's seat knowing that there's an $840,000 deficit between a black household and a white household and feel like you're doing your job? How can you sit in the legislative branch of government, whether it's state, federal, or municipal, and only own 2% of the wealth of a nation? How can you sit in the nation and the only thing they look at you as an entertainer or an athlete? That's all you're good for. A song, a dance, running up and down a basketball court or running on a football field. Mm-hmm. We don't run on the baseball field no more because it costs too much. It costs too much for black Americans to play baseball, and they took the baseball fields away from us.
Yep, and put highways
there. Robinson statue. You got to have or Jackie Robinson. Let's go back to Jackie Robinson, for example. Yes, sir. Jackie Robinson. We can't hear you, Solution. Jackie Robinson. Yes, sir. When Jackie Robinson integrated baseball, Jackie Robinson was American. He was American, even though he almost got locked up as a lieutenant in the Army because he wouldn't move to the back of the bus. Mm-hmm. Even though he faced that kind of discrimination, he was an American. He sang the Star Spangled Banner. But when 2 years before Jackie Robinson died, Thomas and said, you know what? I've been bamboozled.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me one second.
I've been bamboozled. I've been lying.
You cut me off, Shabaka. I like what the professor I like what the professor
Okay, Professor, can we let Solution respond for a minute, sir, and then we're going to get back to you. Yes, sir, and then we got a 347 caller right here. All they got to do is press 1, and they'd be more than happy in the queue. I see we're not getting hate mail in the chat room. Oh, yeah, we know why, because they can't take this heat. Yeah, Rumble, young man, Rumble. Professor, you are working with a man, you're raining all upside his dome. Rumble, young man, Rumble. And then also, let's look at the great sacrifice that the heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali had sacrificed his prime years, of a heavyweight. And the more that white America hated Ali, the more that we loved him. Okay, Solution, come on with it, man. I mean, your scoreboard is looking pretty bad, Solution.
Well, no, it's not. If you understand, now see, I sit in the catbird seat personally. But look here, what I'm saying is the professor has some good points. However, a chain is no stronger than its weakest link. You've got to empower the people. I would say get Claude Anderson's book, Powernomics. He's written a number of books. Powernomics, good one.
I've read it.
Hold on. The professor is pointing out how important finances are. He's done that several times. I was listening to him. And I think you're a good host. That's why I listen. Otherwise, I wouldn't. How many shows have you had, Shabaka, on personal finance to empower people? Because without money, you're not going to do very much, even if one has good ideas. So I have some ideas.
Right. We've posted several of them on. Check our archives.
How you going to have wealth? How you going to build wealth if you don't have money?
All right, I can tell you that. There is an answer to that.
How you going to build wealth when $1 only stays 6 minutes in the Black community?
All right, let me answer.
How you going to build wealth, bro?
That part.
When Black folks think that buying white is the thing to go. When they buy.
All right. Answer?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, this is the way to do
it. Literacy and all of that crap. That's crap, man. Give me some.
Well, you think financial literacy is crap?
It's financial literacy is crap without the income to go along with it. If I only got time and I got to feed my family, I ain't got no money to save. I can't buy no stock. I can't buy a house. If I'm living,
let me jump in here because I can help if you allow me to. See, if you denigrate everything, you only have what you got, which is, look, I encourage young men. I talk about dating a lot. I tell them, you have to work 6 hours a week. Get out of debt, build your finances. There's only one way to do it, unless one. Now, some people's idea of security is winning the lottery for retirement. No, one has to put in the work 2 or 3 jobs. I've done that, so I know what it's like. And you build your wealth, and then you're able to enjoy the fruit of your labor. You're able to enjoy America.
Bro,
okay.
Come on now.
Okay, well, tell me where I'm wrong, please, because it was.
I can tell you where I'm wrong. You are absolutely out of your fucking mind.
All right, tell me why. I've heard you say it.
I'm going to tell you why. Your fucking mind, that's what you are.
What's wrong with what I said?
Overhand right, left hook.
What did Federal Marshal say? You can't tell me to pull myself up by my bootstraps if you ain't got no damn boots.
Right.
Okay, so you believe in begging is one way to financial security.
You're gonna tell me if I'm making $10 an hour or $15 an hour, and I got to pay almost 40% of that, or maybe even 50% of that in rent.
Okay, Professor, I have the problem. What's your solution? Reparations.
Reparations and separation.
We are going to close the black-white wealth gap.
Okay, you think that may make it in your lifetime? And even when you give people who let me just finish this statement.
Do you realize how long it's going to take you to take it your way? The research says it's going to take 229 years just for us to get even with white folks. And the reason why it will happen is because they're going to keep on losing more black folks. And the bottom line is that part. The bottom line is this, brother. It's time for us to wake the fuck up. I'm tired of hearing this bullshit. I'm tired of hearing this bullshit about work hard, work 6 hours, 60 hours a week. Okay?
Well, good. Do you have something to show for it?
No. You know why? Because I got injured on my job. I was working for corporate America. I have almost $1 million saved up because I saved 25% of my salary, and I still had my wife home every day to raise my daughter. Okay? But I got injured on my job, and my job said, you know what? You can't do that job no more. Fuck you. See you later. We can pay 4 people the price. We can pay 4 white people, which they did replace it with a white person. We can pay.
Right. I'm sorry that happened to you, but let me ask you a question because I'm trying to understand.
Let him finish, Solution.
I'm getting sick and tired of this bullshit about saving. You can't.
How quickly do you think reparations will arrive?
It don't matter how quickly.
As soon as we stand up, as soon as we stand up,
cut the fucking check, Solution.
It ain't even none of your business, Solution.
You know what? As soon as we stand up as a community, it's just as like we stood up with George Floyd, got stepped on by that police officer, and we got in the fucking streets.
Yep.
We got in the fucking streets, and guess what? White folks got scared. We only had that.
Just like 1992 in Los Angeles, too, Professor. Just like in 1992 in Los Angeles.
That white boy out that truck and beat him to death. White folks got scared. In 1967, when the riots came in Newark, in Detroit, in Chicago, they had the Kerner Commission and said there were going to be 2 Americas. One black, one white, one separate, both one, and not equal. And that's what we got now. We got a
out of that,
society that's equal, and we got a black society that's unequal. And you got black folks talking about save your money, save your money. You ain't got no money. The only people that got money is doing it with illicit drugs or shooting basketball or singing sports or singing songs. And they singing songs that degrade black people. They degrade their own community. White folks, they degrade their own community with their songs. They ain't talking about fat asses and shooting people. But black folks do that for data because we are conditioned. We've been conditioned for 400 years to hate ourselves. Malcolm said it. Malcolm said it.
Professor, you have a lot of energy and you rejected at least a portion of my idea. So I really will.
I'm going to reject everything you say, brother. Because when you talk about finances, that's crazy.
I know, twin.
Come on, I'll let you don't have to denigrate me. I'll listen to what you have to say in terms of.
How are you going to talk about financial literacy when you ain't got no finance?
Right.
Well, okay. Are you speaking for yourself?
You're talking about collectively.
I'm talking about the large percentage of this country.
Okay, that's true. The larger percentage of the country doesn't have any wealth. That's true. I agree. But that doesn't mean
2% of the wealth of the nation, brother.
He's not a brother, though. He's he refused to acknowledge what his ethnicity is.
We ain't got but 2% of wealth in the nation.
There are a lot of wealth. There are a lot of wealth. Oh, jeez. Okay.
One at a time, y'all.
Okay, listen, Professor. Go ahead and drop knowledge, Professor. And on our scorecards here, Professor, you got his ass, man, 5 rounds to 1. You're not looking too good here, Solution, but we still love you.
Shabaka, hold on, Shabaka. Didn't listen, brother. I love you. Didn't listen, Shabaka. I had a great point. Doesn't want to hear it. He's all into his feelings.
Oh my God.
Okay, but Solution. But you keep cutting the man off, Solution. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely appreciate your Solution coming in. And then we see some of your homies didn't show up. Okay, Joe Gibson, where are you? We don't have no hate mail in the chat room. We love to read our chat mail. We love our haters, you know what I'm saying? But this black man who reads aloud Solution, he's bombing all over you, man. You know,
but he's not, Shabaka. That's only because you're cheerleading for emotion. This guy is just full of emotion.
Sir.
I'm not full of emotion. I'm full of facts, brother.
Okay, but that's emotion. All of it, because you have no way of putting your facts into reality. All you have is a big bunch of emotion. It's better to go to work. I am for everybody. It does. That's why they do it.
Most people like who?
Most people does. If most people, why is the wealth gap so wide between black and white America?
Well, let me put it this way. There are historical issues. Nobody's denying that. But they're not going to be erased with emotion. There are a lot of people who have worked their way out of poverty and a lot of people who are doing it to this day. Waiting on reparations, all that's going to do. Now, I hope you get reparations because it sounds like you need it. All right? So, but waiting on reparations as a means of some kind of security is a fantasy for the most part. I doubt if you ever get it.
You're not going to get it. So why are you even concerned about it, Solution?
I'm not saying, let me finish my thought, if you will. Since the money will be spent here in America, I think giving people reparations would be better than giving out what you call foreign aid, right? However, that's why I ask you, what time period do you think the reparations will arrive to save you? That's
it's not up to you for us to even answer that question for you, because it doesn't have nothing to do with you, Solution.
As soon as
somebody else is talking over, I can't hear you.
As soon as black folks in America demand reparations will arrive.
But when the hell do you think? All right, but that's a non-answer because they like to do that in the next decade.
Solution. Stop. Hold on 1 second, Professor. Let me ask you a question here, Solution, okay? And I'm going to put this here to you. Now, you have told me that you're a Native American, correct? Okay, man.
No. I don't even deal with hold on, Shabaka. I don't even deal with that bullshit.
Oh, God.
Okay.
See what I mean?
Please hold on. I'm gonna unmute your mic after the professor talks and after I talk, and we definitely see we got another caller here at 520.
I think that's just
347. If you want to speak, just simply press your hand. Okay. Now the thing is that I'm going to hit solution with is this. Okay. There was a dude, avid racist by the name of George Armstrong Custer, who's going out there to Little Bighorn. I went to the Little Bighorn. I listened to the wind, and I heard the stories of long ago, which is an ancient African proverb. And Solution, I'm sure that you will agree with me. Crazy horse and sitting bull did the right goddamn thing to Custer. And fuck George Armstrong Custer. And I went up there, man, to go pick on his grave, man. Except, the cemetery was closed because it was the 4th of July. Okay, so therefore, Solution, I find you very, very hypocritical, sitting up here talking about embracing Eurocentric capitalism, man, and look what the white man did to your people, and then look what the white man did to my people. A Native American woman that told me when I stopped there at a rest stop, sir, why did your people help the white man against mine? Because the slave only knew what the fucking master taught him.
And not only that, Shabaka, a lot of those native tribes, they own slaves too. They owe as well. That's what I'm saying. Solution ain't got no.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. Okay, I'm gonna unmute Solution. Okay, now Solution, you got the floor, and then Professor, I'm just gonna ask you to yield to Solution, Professor, and then when Solution finishes his point, man, come up here and reign upside his dome again, just like the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali.
Okay, everybody has owned slaves at one point in history, but that's not the point.
That is the point.
Let me finish, goddammit. Let me finish.
Man,
everybody has owned slaves.
He's gone. He just got kicked the fuck off. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Could you please mute him? No, we kicked him off, man. We kicked him the fuck off, Professor. You got the floor.
I think that's Kevin Barnes.
Okay, we got a 202.
That's Kevin Barnes.
We got a 202, 521 right here. Okay, they got the hand up. Okay, we're gonna let the professor talk, and then we'll most definitely. Oh, wait a minute, I think I know who that is.
That's Mr. Barnes, okay, Outlaw Radio.
Oh, okay, Mr. Barnes. Thank you so very, very much.
Black Power.
Always. Okay. Yeah, we definitely appreciate you there, Mr. Barnes. Okay, Professor, please continue, okay, because we had to throw somebody out the door. And like I said, and when you get this,
he called from a block number.
Not mind showing you the fucking door. Now, we respect Solution. We love Solution. You see what I'm saying? I told Solution about, his people's history. He got upset about it and got to yelling. So how the fuck is somebody going to sit up here and tell us about ours? Shabaka said, Kobe said that. Okay, and we got Mr. Barnes.
Well,
okay, please continue, Professor.
I didn't know the Solutions was a Native American. And if he was a Native American,
his respect.
But if he was a Native American talking like he is, he ain't Native.
No, he a $5 Indian.
And he ain't indigenous. Because anybody who is indigenous can look at the fact that the Europeans killed 50 million of their people. And talk about, you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps when they ain't even have no goddamn, they didn't even give the Indians, they gave the Indians blankets with smallpox in it.
That part.
That's what they did to the Indians. They purposely gave the Indians blankets with smallpox to kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
That's what Americans did. They gave the Indians blankets that were infected with smallpox. So that's not making up history. That's real history. You don't hear that history, but it's real history.
Yep.
So if he's a Native American and he can sit there and say, oh, well, all you got to do is work real hard, work 60 to 80 hours a week. If you're working 80 hours a week, you ain't got no time for your family.
Exactly.
White folks ain't working 80 hours a week.
Hell no.
White folks ain't working 80 hours a week. You talking about working 60 to 80 hours a week. What time do you got for your family?
None.
You ain't got no time to be a father. You ain't got no time to be a mother. You ain't got no time to be a brother or sister because you 60 to 80 hours a week. Come on, man.
Yes, sir.
And then say, teach them financial literacy. How you going to teach somebody financial literacy when they ain't got no finance?
Right.
You got to have something to start with.
Yes, sir. Okay, Professor. Okay, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. Okay, we got Sister Akshita with us. Okay, Sister Akshita, good evening to you.
I'd love to talk to a sister. What's Akshita on?
Yeah, okay, Akshita. Okay, the power of the matriarch, the power of the matriarch, Sister Akshita. We bow down. Let the Queen speak. And we had to throw a solution out, Akshita.
I think he called back in, Shabaka.
When people get disrespectful on this platform, we will throw their asses up out of here. We don't want to, but we sure the fuck ain't gonna be disrespected. Okay, Sister Akshita, I see you doing good things. I hope everything is going for you.
Greetings, Shabaka, and all that are on the platform. Brother Chi, Lady Chi, and the professor.
Yes.
How y'all doing? I'm well, And so I came on because I'm listening to the conversation, and I just popped on right when Brother Solution got booted off the show. I got a lot of respect for him because he does speak a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and true enough, it's not always agreeable based on the topics of communication. I'm not here to defend him. I'm only here to give respect in his absence.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
On the other hand, I just heard the professor state that the Americans gave the Indians blankets with smallpox, and I just want to say this: I'm American, and I'm American because my generation of family members prior to me were all here on the American continent. And so the North American continent with Central America and South America is the northern, is the North America. And so those that came over and colonized these lands are not Americans. They've taken on the title as Americans because they took that title away from the original people.
Right.
Now, whether they're Indian or whatever you want to call them, nonetheless, those that existed on this continent prior to colonization are the true and the real Americans, and they renamed us Indians and all these different categories of people, when really if most people that come from their landmass is named after their landmass, why are the American people the only ones who are being called Black and African American? Some names and titles that were assigned to the original American people, so they will be written out of history.
Yes, you're right about that.
Figures don't lie. Lies don't figure. It's a mathematical equation, and if it ain't figuring, it ain't making no sense.
Okay.
So if we get back to our origins and understanding where we are, first of all, we can know who we are and understand who they are not. And when we understand who they are not, we come back into our power. As we come into, we can do more together, united, than we can divided.
Okay. We sure can. All righty. Okay, Professor. I just want to say to her, is it Rashida?
Ashita.
A-K, yes, S-H-I-T-A.
No, Ashita.
Yes.
Ashita. Veda, you are so right. I should have said white Euro stolen, hated bullshitters, because that's what they were. They were the ones who gave the blankets infected with smallpox to our brothers and sisters who were red and brown and black. Okay? Their land from them. Because when they first came on board to this country, the first people they saw in Florida had dark skin and woolly hair.
Yep.
Dark skin and woolly
like
hair.
The Seminoles, Professor?
Yeah,
like the Seminoles, Professor?
They were dark skin and woolly hair. They were black. That's why you can't go but the history book that the history book.
That's why we have to be the writers. We have to be the speakers of and narrate our own story, or be written out of his narration of others who claim he who.
Well, I'm afraid of you, Ashita.
We are Ashita. Blacks don't read real history. They've been conditioned.
Well, why is that? Because the programming
doesn't. The program system
has been programmed into our people. Just to do women from the home, to kill the men, to criminalize the men, and put them in prison. And so they separated the family against to look outside of themselves within. So now they're looking when real good and the evil and within.
Right.
Hey, let me say one thing. Well, let me say one thing, or a couple of points. And Joe Gibbs is in the chat room. Yeah, Joe, bring in all the hate mail. Not seeing Joe Gibbs in the chat room. Okay. Please continue. In 1880, bonds are like okay, go ahead. Written that forecasted population growth in the United States of America. And it scared the hell out of whites to win. Because in 1880, it said about a year 90 and a million the 13 form of Black people. That scared the hell out of
That's just that shooter right there.
And the politicians and the corporations and the white folks, because we would have been almost even in population for white. What happened after that was the decimation of Black America. The things that you just spoke of. Forcing the blacks out of the South into the northern ghettos. They stole our wealth. They stole political power. And that 225 million people ended up to be around 2 million today. So they were successful in their plan. Black America. They Black America. And when you when said, how do we expect to get reparations? You can't get reparations by putting your hands out. Because you ain't gonna get it that way. Yes, sir. You're not gonna get reparations. But if you as a nation of people, I said I think 19 he gave December that speech, his real speech. You can't. There. H.Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael.
Running get disconnected again. So, I don't know. I think I got disconnected. Let me try to refresh.
To start your show now, press 1.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
All bets were off. And they literally destroyed Black. They flooded our Black communities with guns and drugs. Black person, tell me a black person that owns a gun company. Tell me a black person that owns a poppy field. Tell me a black person that owns a poppy field. Tell me a black person that controls the large amounts of illicit money that's flowing in and out of our communities today. It's flowing from the top of our government. It's flowing from our government.
Dr. Ben Carson. Yes, sir. And then Dr. Ben Carson, he's so asinine. I see you there, Kevin Barnes. Okay, we're going to invite Kevin Barnes into the conversation. Okay, Dr. Barnes, please drop knowledge. 202-352. That Dr. Barnes?
Number.
Okay. Area code. Okay, all righty. I see Joe get there. Okay, Joe, let's get ready.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing well. Good to hear your voice.
Been a long time.
You know the rules here. Okay, Joe, you know the rules. You know the rules.
I got a friend on the platform. I'm safe now.
You're safe now. No, come on, Joe, with it, man, because you got some serious opponents right here. Solution, he ran off. You know what I'm saying? And we got Mr. Barnes here with us. And we got the professor here with us. Okay, Joe, what's on your mind? And then we're going to go to, we got the last student in the room.
Okay. I get what he's saying about the guns and everything, but look here. He said about the poppy fields. Well, I'll give you one name, Frank Lucas. Okay, he went right over there, had to transport his stuff for the poppy fields and everything. He didn't know who it was.
Exactly, he didn't own that.
We cut out the middleman and everything. But well, no, but look, the bottom line is this: how is it responsibility? Who's going to take all the responsibility and burden? We're going to spread it out amongst everybody, or we're going to single one group or one people out? How is that ever going to solve anything? How are we going to solve anything?
Sure,
like I asked you, what's going to make them happy?
Okay, Joe, just like I got one thing for you. Everybody saw The Godfather, right? You remember when Don Corleone called the meeting with Parsini, Lecce, and what have you? And then the Godfather from Cleveland, I believe, got up there and said, we want these narcotics controlled, and what we'll do in our town, we'll keep it in the black community because they're nothing but a bunch of savages anyway. Minister Malcolm gave some very, very heavy speeches on that. And then, like how they flooded, like how the Reagan regime has flooded South Central Los Angeles with crack cocaine. You know what I'm saying? We don't own that shit, man.
Shabaka, let me ask you this question. I'm running for public office here. I'm running for public office here in North Carolina. You tell me.
How much
is going to make you
for you, man?
What? Let's just say, what's he done?
Number one is the reparations, also to the Africa Republic. You know what I'm saying? Number three, for us to control our own debt. Vaccination systems is because the only thing they're doing is teaching our people a bunch of bullshit, like the professor had just laid on Solution, and Solution ran away. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask some questions, historical questions. I'm going to go back, but I just want to ask these questions, and I think it's important that these questions.
Okay, sir, could you please identify yourself, please? Okay, sir, the one who wants to ask the questions, could you please identify yourself?
This is me. I'm going to ask some questions that I wrote down. This is Joe Hall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Why was it necessary, once blacks were unlocked from the bonds of slavery, to continue to impede the full implementation of equal rights and true justice to each and every one of our ancestors. Why did our government allow the savage mob, white mob assault to go unpunished in New Orleans in 1871? Where whites simply stole the lives of our black ancestors for only wanting to achieve some level of citizenship. Why didn't the federal government not step in to reinstitute all the monies that was stolen from the newly freed slaves who had placed their funds in the Freedmen's Bank? Why did our government in 1898 allow to disrupt democracy in Wilmington, North Carolina, and for that to go unpunished?
He didn't even know about that, Professor. He didn't even know nothing about that. But go ahead.
Allowing a mob of whites to destroy the lives and economic fortunes of the black community of Brooklyn and Wilmington, a community that was more prosperous than Tulsa. I want to add. Yes. This community was thriving, and yet within a matter
so on the Streamyard, Joe Gibson, who's running for Senate, Senator, House of Representatives. He running for House of Representatives in North Carolina. I want to say District 35. So if you know anybody in House District 35 in North Carolina, tell them don't vote for Joe Gibson. He didn't even know about the Wilmington massacre. He didn't know nothing about any of that. We had to educate him on that. In the same state that he's running for public office in. He didn't know nothing about the Wilmington Massacre of 1898. He didn't know nothing about none of that.
An activity that included the first bombing of the first air attack on United States soil before Pearl Harbor. Tulsa, okay? Yeah, Tulsa. Why was it even any reason for dead black bodies to hang on trees like strange fruit, as Billie Holiday sang so eloquently? Swinging in the southern breeze. Why was no white man in the South ever convicted of killing a black person, even when the heinous acts were done in full public view and everybody knew the perpetrators? Why was Sam Holmes' body parts? Why was Sam Holmes' body parts in Atlanta allowed to be put on public display?
Welcome.
Throughout the state of Georgia, after he was brutally lynched,
That's
and
right.
his body was taken apart piece by piece. Why didn't the United States government protect the life of Frazier Baker, the postmaster, who simply wanted his job as a high employee of the federal government postal system? Mr. Baker's life was taken along with his daughter, and the surviving family was destroyed economically, and yet no one was ever convicted for his murder. Why were black American ghettos allowed to flourish in the so-called greatest economic nation the world has ever known? Why did our government allow the federal institutions to steal our potential wealth by implementing laws and regulations that inhibited our black ancestors to build wealth? You didn't know that the Social Security Act of 1935 basically excluded black Americans, domestic workers, that was murderers, and didn't get paid by.
Let me know in the chat. There you go.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
To start your show now, press.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Our community is silent and acceptance of those acts. Why can't America, black or white, do monitors of visual information on a daily basis and see the destruction caused by America's own weapons of immediate destruction? Why do we community members won't give that same enthusiastic response or support to rebuild and building or growing or growing the construction of real-time living? Objective. It never says of America has an alignment of its objectives been between the races been aligned. We've never been aligned, black and white. From either side, when black.
Oh man, I keep getting disconnected.
Oh.
I'm trying, 5G tower went up. Let's go act a little stupid. Sorry, on the stream. To connect back in here on my internet. That's a little stupid all of a sudden.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
Make sure y'all like
to start your show now, press 1 to hear important.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Everybody knows these 10 issues. And when you talk to a politician, say, these are my issues. What is your thoughts on them? And if they can't give you an honest answer, tell them to get the fuck out the building. That's what we got to do.
Okay,
we got to start to demand what we want. Because if we don't demand what we want, we're never going to get what we need. That's it.
I know. Okay, let me ask. Now, I know I'm not only going to get to ask probably one question, but wouldn't you agree that the more than 360,000 whites that helped fight during the Civil War to defeat slavery, that also many more, tens of thousands, were lynched? Also, are they entitled to reparations also? See, I knew I was going to get a question. I knew it.
They did not fight to end slavery.
Oh, they didn't, huh?
And those white brothers, those whites to the north hated Negroes just as much as the whites in the South hated Negroes. But they were afraid that if they were afraid that if slavery moved up north, those whites would
let's move up then. Let's move up to the civil rights era then. Let's move up out of that time of history then. We're not going to agree.
Come on, man.
Well, let's go to the 1960s. Okay, we know 18% of the country's whites helped stand side by side with many of the 87% of blacks that were persecuted.
And that don't even benefit us, Joe.
But they still fought side by side.
Joe, they only walk side by side because they got some benefit out of it. We didn't get no benefit out of that. That was supposed to be corrective action for Reconstruction, and we didn't get nothing tangible out of that. That ended up benefiting us.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
On April 3rd, Professor. On April 3rd.
Okay. All right. Well, let's not go that route.
Okay. Well, can I say here? Because see, I do realize that a lot of the conversation swayed toward racial diversity, and with racial diversity, we'll never get anywhere, because the point of the matter is that we're all in a slave society, in the government and how it's now. What I want to say is that it wasn't a white man that killed Martin Luther King. His own people is the ones who killed him. Malcolm X, it was his own people that killed him. See, we don't talk about it.
Yeah, hold on. No. Sister,
I'm 44 years old, okay?
Sister,
I wasn't there. I'm part of the back. It was someone who allowed in the ranks because there was a trust factor opened up. What person was, who that person was. Point of the matter is, we got more people that look like one another that are killing one another. Yet the government or this program system has set us against one another, so we can never see that if we unite, we're stronger, no matter what we look like.
That's
a good point.
That's true.
But they were always taught they were better than us, no matter what condition they were in.
But H. Rap Brown said it right. Violence is as American as apple pie.
Yep, that's true too.
Violence against black people is American pie. And until we've
You bring up a good point. 84% of the crimes now committed are black on black. Why not?
Because
why?
It's programmed that way, Joe. Because you see, on your show, and you guys ran me off, but it's programmed that way.
You left.
Okay.
Shoot. Who?
Joe, you skating on that. Okay, I don't.
I gave you the floor, Shabaka, and I didn't interrupt you. I never even interrupted you, Shabaka. Come on now.
Is his name Joe?
But you interrupted me right now,
Joseph.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Please let me finish. Okay, as you were saying about black on black crime, as you were saying, okay, this is programmed as Dr. Frances Cress Welsing had stated in her writings. I'll tell you that, brother. Okay, because what had happened is like when you go to the city of Chicago, okay, where my parents grew up in, they call them projects, right? So what happens is if you take, say, 1,000 severely defined area, what it's going to do?
what they call a human experiment.
What we have to understand is the true player.
Government. I expect you to say that, Joe. It's always the government. So, you know what the government is, Joe? Damn, I got disconnected. God damn it. I was going to say, you know, the government is the global system of racism, white supremacy. That's the great Nelly Fuller pusher. I got disconnected.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. It appears the host has already dialed into this show. Only one host is allowed per show. Talk Radio. Goodbye.
I'm not in the Streamyard. I thank y'all for tuning in. Let me see if I can turn it away. What the hell, man? It's really done.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
That grade. You better start loving your brothers.
Sorry, y'all.
Why?
Because
we all evolved from the same ancestral mother. United fight for what is right. Black folks that better be getting tight. Have a great day and thank you.
Okay, and thank you so very, very much, Professor, man, and I really appreciate your input. Okay, we don't have too much hate. Yes.
Come back, just let me know.
Friday.
Yes, sir, we'll do it, Professor, and thank you so very, very much. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do, we definitely appreciate, you know, the professor there, the black man who reads aloud, very, very heavy brother, very knowledgeable brother. Okay, Joe, we're going to try to get in. Okay, well, see, we have another caller right there at 907. Okay. All right, it's Sister Akshita. Okay. No, Kevin Barnes. Okay. 202-541. I don't know if that's Kevin Barnes or not, but you got your hand. Please drop now. I'll let you. Okay. Then we're going to go back to Akshita. And then we're going to go there to Brother Che. As he's manning our boards, and we do have a 907 number there. Last 3 is 091. When you want to talk and join us, please press 1. Be happy to have you on. Okay, it's this Sheeter, and then we're going to Joe, and we're trying to get the 202 number there. The last 3521. I think I know who the okay, wait a minute. Kevin Barnes. Okay, is that there Emma? At 202. Okay, 202. Okay, Sister Akshita. Matriarch.
whoever 202 is don't want to be heard. They just want to listen. So let's listen.
Okay, come on.
It's always a pleasure to come on to the show and topics and it would be so nice to see that one day you, Shabaka, and Joe really just have a nice honor to speak, because I believe you both make great points because of your intellect, your experience, and all that you have witnessed in your own walks of life. And we've all come from our own corners of the world and our own corners of belief systems. But there has to come a time where we look beyond the color of our skin, and we also look beyond those historical issues that have caused a greater division in the people. America has always been a melting pot of people from around the globe. People have come from everywhere. Now, the government system that has been set up, to my understanding, was initially set up by the original people of the Americas. Now, the United States is separate from the origin of the government system, which is the government of we, the people. We, the people, govern our own selves within our own tribes and families. And we learn to get back to that governing system and stop looking outside of that governing system into a system that is only for itself, not for the people. We will see then that we can exist. You don't see flowers and trees and different types of animals fighting one another, because they have learned to coexist in a world that is open for all of our existence, because if not, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be here. So once we learn to see beyond, when we learn to see beyond our differences, we can see where we are the same. When we see where we are the same, we'll have no reason to fight. And we'll see the true enemy. And the true enemy is the American dollar and the United States government, which has been set up against the people. Now, I didn't read some, but I had come into some information. There was a video that was shared on, I don't know, TikTok, one of the media platforms. And it was talking about the child support system. And there was a few women who sued the child support, sued the state because of child support, because they were asking, where is their money? Why is most of the majority of the money going? And it caused the state to have a deal of what child support is. Child support in the benefit of the child. It was always and what child support is, they always ask others information, and what they do is the state gives money for welfare assistance, food stamps, and medical assistance, and all these things, which, number one, the government is supposed to take care of its people. You don't see people without health care. You don't see people without food and all these things, because they have a natural understanding of what the responsibility of the government is. But here, the United States, on the other hand, has created a system against the people. So the child support system is not to benefit the child, but to benefit the state. And what happens is when the father is not paying the child support, he's arrested and put into the prison system. What can he do for the family in the prison system? So who are we mad at? Are we mad at, huh?
Yeah, I said, no,
who
you're
are we
right.
mad
And then also doing, and then in California too, Sister Akshita, just putting it out there, is that what the state of California would do when they do arrest a father like that, he cannot get no driver's licenses, he cannot get no trade licenses,
all of his rights away.
Exactly.
He has no say so to stand up and do what it takes, what there is for a man to do to tend to his family. So then now that breaks down the family system even more. Now this is happening to Caucasian people. This is happening to Hispanic people. This is happening to Black African American people. This is happening to all people. If there is no separation when it comes to the government and how the government treats the people, no matter what you look like, if you have a woman that's working with the state against the man, then guess what? They don't care what you look like.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this here, Sister Akshita. What do you feel and what do you know about a woman by the name of Gloria Steinem?
I'm not aware.
Okay, all righty. Joe Gibson, you know who Gloria Steinem is. You and I are in the same age group.
Yes, I heard of her, yes.
Okay, all right. From what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because keep in mind, people, I'm not the most brilliant person that it is. Okay, Gloria Steinem started the quote-unquote women's liberation movement. Okay, and then what she did was that she had targeted Black women to come up here with that bullshit, because what had happened is when she came with that, they started doing all the things that Sister Akshita was talking about. You see what I mean? If anybody ever saw the motion picture called Claudine with James Earl Jones, one of my favorite actors, and Diane Carroll, who I have very low regard for. Yeah, okay, and what happened? Yeah, you see, so therefore, so as Sister Akshita is saying, is this is a systemic procedure by the government to destroy families, but the Black family in particular. This is why, as Brother Che had pointed out in his research, very knowledgeable man, that's why he's the co-executive producer, okay, was the buck-breaking method of the plantation system, as the professor was talking about, Joe Gibson. Okay, now, Joe, let's say that you owned me and my family down there in North Carolina, which was a slave state, okay? Do you know, Joe Gibson, that you can go take illicit liberties with my woman and I would be castrated if I went up there and broke and so for raping my wife? Don't you know, Joe Gibson, that you had the right to take my daughter underage and to violate her, just like what the professor was saying right there?
Hey, Shabaka. Hey, Shabaka, don't you know?
Stay within the parameters of what I am saying, man. I'm talking about, man, you know, Joe, I mean, you crafty. I give it to you. You crafty. And your moderator there wants to set that match up there between me and Side books right here. So I'm going to have to do a whole lot of reading because my memory ain't what it used to be. Yeah. Senility is starting to set in. You know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am.
Let me say this. I was violated as a child. And you want to know who violated me? You want to know who violated me? He was someone that I trusted in the family.
Oh my God.
And he looked like me.
Well,
and I say that to say this. I say that to say this. Most people who, because you were talking from the what you were saying as far as violating or taking your wife or your child and being a Caucasian person that would be able to do those things because of the Black Christian codes that were written and also the Willie Lynch letter that was written during those times, which gave authority and rights only if you was in that mindset and in that situation. It wasn't for the whole country wasn't operating in that way. Only in those that in that mindset. But here's the point I'm trying to make here is most of those things are happening within the family. It's not happening because there is a Caucasian or and it's a Black or African American, and because you're Caucasian, you have the right to violate women and children. They doing it in the family.
Sister Akshita.
Okay, you know what
are you
with that there?
Are you aware of the breeding farms and the sex farms? Sister Akshita, have you heard about the sex farms and the breeding farms and how and where the term motherfucker comes from?
Yes, and I do understand that, but see, guess what? When you are trying to take what is not yours and change who you're not to who they are, you and I was in a conversation the other day. The Black women were against breastfeeding their children, but they were made to breastfeed the children of their slave owners because from the bloodstream of that Black woman was the DNA of that generation and was being given outside of the actual generation, and then they created an artificial supplement for the children that were born of these women. None of those things are right, and it should not have ever been done. But that doesn't mean that those are not the things that are happening today. What we have to do is correct those things. We're still asking questions as to how that was able to happen. It was able to happen because the people were conquered. And the conquering of people didn't just start in the south of North America. It had begun way back during the times of the Catholicism and Protestants and the Muslim and Judaism and all these different sects of religion. The people have created the world.
And what I know it did have something to do with what you look like, because we are definitely under a global system of racism, white supremacy. It is a global system. That is the only government that operates. We were talking about the government earlier.
There can only be supreme if you're inferior.
We were talking about the government earlier, right? Are you aware that government means mind control? So these people, it's an ideology. It is a religion. White supremacy is a religion, and it has permeated every section of this planet from the time that we're speaking of until now.
Because your skin is pale, or your skin is pale, that you have that ideology.
No, it doesn't. But you could be suspected of having that ideology.
Like you and I, that
they can have that ideology too. Yeah, they can have that ideology too. It's still an ideology though at the end of the day. And like I said, it's permeated the whole planet. So what we need to be actively doing is hold on. I haven't said nothing this whole show. Can I please speak? Like, I'm literally the co-host and the co-executive producer of the show. I have not said really much of anything this whole show because I keep getting disconnected. So we need to be actively working. We need to be actively working. Okay, well, we're about to go on to overtime, Shabaka. I just want to get this out, and then y'all can go back to having a discussion y'all was having. We need to actively be working to replace this global system of racism and white supremacy. It's a whole global system. It's not just America. It's not just the Americas. It's the whole planet. All 6, 7 continents. It's there. It exists. So we need to be actively working to replace that system. The system. When I'm talking about justice, I'm not talking about, oh, everybody needs to be treated equally, everybody needs to be treated fairly. No, I'm to help man, and is judged by color. I just know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I get disconnected in overtime, man. It's going to end the show.
To start your show now, press 1.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Real, Palestine, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, not in Somalia and Africa, Sudan, but right here on the soil, and people are doing the drive back on the beach. And it's impossible to do an honest John deal with. But we would deal with it and great white hope, and he was honest deal. No of honesty on the planet without
Shabaka,
million women march to get that concept of called black to our own awareness. Yes, today and tomorrow, the level that he is will not change his disease is not going to have a single stripe on his backside. He doing it.
So it's already happening. It's already young people at minus birth rate anyway. It's only a matter of time before we are rid of y'all.
Pennsylvania for about 6 months, man, in solitude to focus on my opponent.
Still going.
Okay, all right. So
I'm in overtime, so I'm about to end this live.
If anybody wants to drop knowledge or got questions or crumb bum on Shabaka'S Blacc experience in hand, now is the time to do it. And Sister Akshita is just a very, very wise young woman for her age. And Sister Akshita, you know, she's almost like a daughter to me because I was old when she was born. Okay, all right. So the mic is open. Okay, come on, you know, with the knowledge. Come on.
Yeah. The previous brother who was speaking, he brought up Jeffrey Almhurst. That, for those that don't know, there's a college named after him over there in the East Coast. Y'all can look it up, Almhurst College. But this is one of the first, like, real documented cases of biological warfare, where they're giving out these blankets, knowing they're infected with smallpox in order to decimate the population. And then later on, they talk about them attacking the buffalo, with the idea being to starve the Native American, to help them push them into these reservations and take them off their, you know, very...
Yes, sir. I've been through Wyoming. Yes, sir. That is a fact.
Right. Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, which is about the Osage native tribe down there. Pushed people to this reservation where they thought it was barren land and wasn't nothing there. And next thing you know, them folks found out there was oil under that land. So all of these people, you know, this tribe got a lot of wealth. Man, these people came down there and started robbing them, attacking them, and marrying the women and then killing them in order to get their oil rights. And to this day, y'all hear about the Koch brothers, some of those, you know, oil companies. Those are the descendants of those people who went down there and stole all that oil from that native people, the Osage. So yeah, check that movie out. Y'all get a chance.
The Osage. I used to know somebody from that tribe.
What was your name, sir?
Oh, this is Nas, man.
The gentleman.
What up, Shay?
Oh, Nas, what's going on?
Oh, Brother Nas, it's been a minute. Brother Nas, how you been?
Okay. So, Brother Nas, did you complete your PhD, sir? Because I remember you said you had to go back to your studies, man.
No, I believe 10 piece lemon pepper and a pint of Remy. I believe that's where I got stuck chasing that PhD. So no PhD.
All right, sometimes you gotta laugh to keep them crying. That's right. And do let me say here, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'm not the most brilliant person that there is, but over years of doing this Shabaka'S Blacc experience enhanced, I've came across individuals, celebrities, haters and well wishers and what have you, and all the things that I do ask, ladies and gentlemen. And me and brother, we got to understand, okay? That's why he's the co-producer. Is if we're gonna disagree, let's disagree agreeably. You see what I'm saying? And yes, and all power to the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? You know, made all facts. You know, countless other brothers down in Los Angeles with and then keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced was inspired by the 5th anniversary of the Black Panther. One of the only man, Dr. T. Rest Black Experience. So over the years, you know, I've been called everything, read, called it, but one thing about it, the general told me at the Infirmary Park in Oakland, had on a leather.
Put a plug in any minute.
Young brother, are you gonna down your knees, turned around and walked away and shut me up? this is why we're doing this, that we do with this platform, you know, and there's all kind of great knowledge, you know, to come across here. We've had celebrities on this platform. We've had PhDs. We've had former world boxing champions that come on here. We've had our haters, our hate mail, and what have you that we read and whatnot. Joe Gibson. Well, Joe Gibson is Joe Gibson. What can we say? And then, of course, my main nemesis on these platforms is I'm going up here going through all my books right here from Malcolm X to Napoleon Hill and what have you. The one and only Sarge, okay? Now, the dumb.
As in human shit. Perfectly clear.
His ass belongs sanctified, incompetent, but however, he represents racist white supremacy. And I think I might get Cena down the street from me right here and take a sit down. I don't want the son of a bitch, but the wearing diapers, stuff. Age limit on president. Stressful ass job. Oh, sister, the sister that you drop and that you possess in years of your act. To quote the words of Mira Makeba, down orally. But then we were not discovered until the white man came. And then the white man said, proof, you exist. It's because history is always written in the hands of the conqueror, which is ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? The chip up in his brain, up his ass, or whatever. He is diabolical. No, he's not African. I yield. Okay, Brother Che, please take over, man, because I'm exhausted.
All right, so we're going to move to closing. So go ahead, Joe.
What issue do you want me to address first? The fairy tale or the fact United States of America?
Yep, with a triple K, Joe.
Well, Joe, like I said, you know your country better than I do, because like I said, with my old ass here, 60 plus years, I could still be bought and taken across, you know, state lines, even if, you know, when the slave day came to Black would be home as property. And I wish your boy Yankee would understand that, but however, I feel sorry for such ignorant ass people, who is very articulate, I might add, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I feel sorry for him. I don't hate that man. I just feel sorry for him. He can hate me all he wants. Oh, you know, I could tell us if he did, if he didn't. Okay, Joe, but I just feel sorry for him. Okay? You know, but that does not mean I don't respect that black man. Yes, sir. Okay. I don't hate either. I don't hear listening. Okay, Brother Jay, take us out and Sheikah Mom. You know, if you have any closing comments, sir, you're more than welcome. Sister Sheeta, of course, Brother Naz. You know what I'm saying? All right, come on.
Yeah. Joe Gibson, your closing.
Okay.
It's your phone.
Oh shit, the internet's acting up.
Anyway, thanks for having me tonight. Appreciate it. And it's always good to learn from everybody. And awesome listening to Archibald again, my old friend. Good hearing your voice. Thanks for being on tonight. Everybody be safe out there, and hopefully we'll come to a better resolution next time.
You can cut the check next time. Right, that's what Joe. You can. That's what you can do. But thank you, Joe, for coming on. All right.
All right.
Go ahead, Brother Nas.
Yeah. Shout out to y'all for hosting the show as usual. giving people information that they don't have, and just giving them breadcrumbs, man, so where they can educate themselves. Because that's how it always starts. One person gives you one piece of information, you take that, and then that leads to other stuff that you learn. But yeah, man, all I'll say is, as Shabaka'S got into old Biden, you see what's going on in Israel. You see this dude basically being a stand-in for genocide. He's giving those weapons, giving them money to continue to allow it, and it's going to cost them their lives. Because those young folks that they depended on to push them over the line, they're not going to show up this time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, brother Nas.
And good luck on that bet, Shabaka. That sounds like a good bet to put down. Might as well make some money off the raggedy.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Sister Ashita.
Appreciate you, brother. It's always a pleasure to have you, sir. Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you.
All right. Good talking to you again, brother Nas.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming in.
Sister Ashita, is she still with us? Ashita Veda, are you still with us, sister?
Okay.
I don't know if she dropped. Somebody dropped.
Somebody dropped off.
Yes, I'm here. My phone be on delay.
Oh, okay.
I am here. Did you? Well, I just want to say thank you for always coming on. I appreciate hearing all come on to speak, to be heard. I'm looking forward to the day when there's no more reason but to see out and come to a conclusion where unity is at the head of the table, when we're not looking at one another, but we're actually seeing the opposition ahead and standing together in unity against the opposition rather than one another. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm continuing on in the memory of Mandela Khan Davis and the rise of the Ethiopian matriarch. I am the chosen daughter, as he was the chosen son, the only SUN of the matriarch. And we are always for the exigency of Class Action 567, Blue Revolution, are coming together as a community. And so that's where I'm at with it. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful, and I will continue to be back. And I love you all.
We love you too, sister.
Okay, sister. Okay, sister. All right.
All right.
Moving on down the line.
And I thank you, Shabaka. I love you, Shabaka.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, make an old man wish for younger days, young lady.
Okay, y'all. All right, Sheik, what's your closing statement?
Yeah, Sheik Imam Akbar.
Sheik, are you still with us?
Okay, ma'am, are you there?
He might have dropped.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
That's all close. So,
okay. All right, okay.
Or do you want to give your closing and I'll just close this out?
They're probably up here, man. Okay, yeah, on my closing here tonight, great show tonight. Definitely check out Black Power Radio, you know, with Black Lightning and Sheik Imam Akbar and Dr. Critical Truth today. I was hoping that Dr. Bay could have got in this season to start some knowledge or wisdom and what have you, and definitely a shout out to our brother Marsh, you know, who we're talking about.
Yes.
And Biden, man, you got a whole lot of work to do because you pulled the twist on us with that tax law. You see, getting taxes, you make more than $600 a year. It's my ass. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you You know what I mean? You know, hell, somebody gonna survive off of $600 a year. $30 a month. The thing I know is question. Okay, alrighty. So if anybody else does not have any closing comments,
I do. Shabaka. Shabaka. I was gonna close out. Yeah. So
milestones, brother Chet.
Okay.
And this milestone is where it's 5 minutes and 42 seconds.
All right, got you. All right, so yeah, the Congressional Black Caucus.
That I made.
Okay. All right, let me close this out.
Yeah, the Congressional Black Caucus.
Yeah, that's what we were.
You know, and hopefully all of them get voted out because they serving everybody. Yeah.
Right.
Kiss my ass.
Right. That's exactly what I was gonna say, Shabaka. Congressional Black Caucus. They do nothing to us. They don't do nothing to help us. There's immigrant caucus. Majority of them from America. We work from America. Yeah, Shabaka vote in 2024. Do for people, so it's like waste of time to continue to vote blue no matter who, and keep these fools in office that don't want to give up no proximity to power, because they don't have no power, but they have proximity to power, like Jimbo Jangles Clyburn and Tim Scott. For self-black, debt is in full $100 trillion for past atrocities and brought against our continue to be brought against our people in 2024. And if you ain't talking about the system of racism, you ain't talking about nothing. You just babbling and replace the global system with a system of systems guarantees that nobody is mistreated by the color of their skin, and those that need the most constructive help get it in a constructive manner. And all non activity, those areas are not in education and labor, politics, sex, religion, and nutrition. 9-10 areas of human activity. That was from Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, rest in power to her, and to Bill. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. I'm the co-host and host, Shane Crewman, co-executive producer of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. The Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced is a division of Front Line Blacc News, Front Line Campaign, along with the Revolutionary Agenda. Make sure y'all check us out for a brand new episode of Front Line Blacc News this Saturday at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Yeah, we're still on the air.
Yeah, we're still on the air. They pulled the plug when I was finishing my closing statement, but I think y'all heard majority of it. So I was just telling people that come on the
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, so thank you, DK, thank you, Twin, and whoever, Scorpy, and whoever else tapped in tonight. for this Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. Make sure y'all check us out this Friday for Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase at 8 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Mountain, 10 a.m. Central, and 11 a.m. in the East. So if Shabaka don't have nothing else, peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment, the Congressional Black Caucus is useless. They're obsolete. Right. And they don't do nothing specifically for us. Every other caucus does something specifically for their group, such as the Asian caucus, the Latino caucus or Hispanic caucus, the Jewish caucus. They all do something for their specific group. But the Black Congressional Black Caucus is a bunch of congressional black talkers that don't do nothing to motivate nothing. Then they don't have the voice of the people in order to youth. So it's tangibles 2024 all the way up to 2100. Continue to demand something tangible for your vote. We are going to bring both parties to their knees. And like I said, we need to actively work to replace this global system of racism and white supremacy, because that is the only government, that is the only ideology that permeates the whole planet. We need to do away with that and replace it with a system of justice, which guarantees that nobody is mistreated by the color of their skin, and those that need the most constructive help get it in a constructive manner. So I am Chan Nkrumah, co-executive producer and co-host of Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. Make sure y'all check out Front Line Blacc News this Saturday. And Lady Che might be dropping the RBA tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, so definitely.
Shabaka, go close us out, Shabaka, because I'm about to end the live stream. So
okay, yes, sir. Okay, we thank everybody who participated here, on the StreamYard tonight. Also, too, we thank everybody who called into Shabaka'S Blacc Experience Enhanced. We love our haters, you know what I'm saying? We didn't get too much hate mail tonight, probably because they can't deal with this truth, you know what I'm saying? But however, let haters hate, we'll just be great. And that's my closing statement there, Brother Che.
All right, well, peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment. We're out from the Mile High Income in Sin City. See y'all Friday. Peace.
Yes, sir. Always. Mm-hmm.